Hi everyone, Sharon Brennan here, Cottage Lane Stamper. Thank you for joining me today. I seem to be a little bit close, but maybe I'll just move back. Try to find myself on my tablet so that if anybody has any comments, I sure hope that you say hi. Let's see, I think I need to refresh. I'm not finding it yet. Let's see, go back out, come back in. And there we are. So if you have any comments, please say hi. It's kind of a cold and cloudy day today, mixed rain. It's, well, it's Minnesota and it's winter. We can expect almost any kind of weather there. I just wanted to mention something, a couple things. Now, I don't know if you've checked out the clearance rack, but there's a lot of things on clearance right now. I was going to use this cut and embossing folder. It's a 3D folder, and it was a little too whimsical for what I wanted to use today. But it is on sale for like $4.80 right now, and there's a lot of other good bargains out there. So make sure you check out the clearance rack when you log on the left-hand side of the screen, I think, or if you just type clearance rack in the search bar, it'll come up and show you all the things that are on there. And if you're scrolling through, like say stamps, it'll show in red the sale price if it's on clearance. If it's not on clearance and it's in the mini catalog, usually this is true, it'll be carried over. It may be carried over to the new annual catalog coming out in July. Yeah, starting in July. So let me see if I can lower this a little bit. Anyway, that's one thing. And then also, if you place an order below $150, you can use this December host code. And it's 3FETFYZ3. So, and I'll be posting that on my video when I upload it too. And then if you live in the New Ulm vicinity, I will be starting classes in my apartment building January 12th. It's going to be a Thursday and at 2 o'clock. And it's open to the public, but you do have to reserve a spot. And you can go do that by going to my Stampin' Up! Website, which is sharonbrennan.stampinup.net, and go under events. And then if you click down on events, it'll show you the calendar of events that are going on. So sure would like to see a lot of friendly new faces and some new faces there. So we're just starting out, so I'm not sure what level everybody is out at, for stamping, but we'll find out. And if 2 o'clock in the afternoon doesn't work, say if you work outside the home, or even if you work in the home and you can't get away at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, let me know and I can change it maybe to an evening class if that works better. It just is what's going to work better for everybody. So please let me know, okay? And with that, I'm going to get started on today's card. I actually made 2 different samples of the same card, and trying to decide which one I wanted to go with. But I'll put the camera down here and make sure that I get my everything in view here. Let me see. I think I need to maybe raise this up a little bit. Maybe that'll be better. I'm never sure when I move my paper. I should mark it on my little black pad here. So, yep, I think that's good. We're going to go all the way over to the inch mark, and then I think we'll be good. And I'll try to stay in frame here. So, and I've got the coast codes here. I'll move those down so you can see it if you want. Anyway, the stamp, and it's a bundle, excuse me. And when bundles come out, you save 10% by buying both the stamp set and the dies. And typically, say if this were to carry over, and I'm not sure if it is right now, if it were to carry over, the stamp set in the new catalog would be one price. They won't be bundled anymore. So just be aware of that. And I think this one, I should look. I forgot to look. This one might be retiring. I'm not sure. But I love this stamp set. I should turn it around so you can see better. So it's got this gorgeous old barn. I love this sleigh with people and the evergreen. And I don't know if you can see this. This is like little foot tracks leading from the barn. And there's a fence and a wreath and a couple of really sweet sentiments. So, and then the die set, I have to try to go through these. This one is for the fence that's in the stamp set. So it goes like that. And of course, the barn and the sleigh, the horse-drawn sleigh. There's a wreath and this one, I believe, goes around this sentiment, which is nice. They don't always do that. And this one goes around this sentiment, like that. There's not one for this, but this is really easy to cut out. And here is the tree. So what we're left over with is this cute little sign. And you could write really tiny letters, Merry Christmas or whatever. There are snowflakes that you can die cut, and thankfully there's like 3 of them. So you can do a whole bunch and, use the 3 multiple times. There's a fence, and we're going to be using that today. And the silo. This doesn't have a coordinating stamp, but it does emboss when it cuts. And also a little pond. So I love that you can probably use these for a lot of other stamp sets that you have. There was another one, stamp set, it was called Peaceful Cabin from last year. And if you had these both sets, you could really do a lot combining them. So with that, I will show you the card we're going to be making. First, I'll show you my one sample, and then I'll show you the one we're going to do. So this is called Christmas Barn, and I will have a list of all the products that I used today on my blog, cottagelanestamper.com. And I'll post this video to YouTube and also to my Facebook page. And if you don't belong to that, it's the Facebook page is called Cottage Lane Stamper with an ampersand and friends. So Cottage Lane Stamper and friends. So, and I'll also put this at the bottom of my video someplace. So anyway, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to keep the dies out because we're going to be using those. And this was my original card that I made today. And I wasn't sure how I liked it. I die cut the trees. I stamped them in old olive and die cut those. And this I stamped, this is soft suede, stamped on soft suede. And the barn is die cut out of white. And then I actually colored it with my watercolor pencils and used the blender pen to blend them together. And then, I don't know if you can see, in the background, I embossed it with the embossing folder that I'm going to use today. And I don't have it here. I'll have to go get it. But it is a retired one, and I apologize for that. I try not to use any retired supplies or product. And then this is the Merry Christmas stamped out. So, and then I actually used my blender, blending brushes, and blended a bunch of different colors like navy blue and Highland Heather. And there's a yellow in here, and I think I also did balmy blue. So I blended that background first, and I had cut out a barn beforehand. Then I did the blending, so it left the space for the barn. And I guess I probably didn't need to do that. I wasn't thinking, I guess, because the barn covered it up anyway, but then it gave me a place for my barn. And then also, if you see the sparkle here, I used a little Wink of Stella on that. So, and then this is the silo out of basic gray. And I used a little Wink of Stella down here. So that was the first card. And I wanted to do something simpler because watercolor pencils take a little bit of time when you're doing it. And I always am a fan of white on white cards. So this is my take on that. It's not totally white on white, but I die cut 3 trees. I stamped them in soft seafoam. And this is stamped in gray granite. And the silo is white, and we'll talk about the wreath later. And this is the fence. Now, I used our foam adhesive. I attached it. It comes in big sheets, but it comes like this. And I attached my strip of white paper from my fence on here. I cut it in a smaller piece, of course, and then die cut it. And then, because it's really hard to use dimensionals in something like this, and you can see it is raised a little bit. So it die cuts the fence, and all those little pieces come out. So let us get started. We are going to start with, let's see, I need to go get my embossing folder that I think I left for here. Just a second. Normally, I'm always a mess. Anyway. This embossing folder is from last year, and it is called Evergreen Forest, and it is a 3D folder. And I just remembered something else. Sorry. I thought I was all prepared. I was up at 7:30 this morning refining my design, and finally settled on this. So I thought, oh, I'm pretty organized. But there's always something I forget. Anyway, this is the embossing folder, and you can see it's got just a little raised. I just love the background with this, with the trees on that. So I'm going to haul in my Stampin' Cut and Embossing machine. And I think there's a special that's going on. If you sign up as a demonstrator, one of the perks you get is the mini one like this in blue. And I love blue. So we're going to take this, let's see, I have to stop and think. Yep. So I have a piece of cardstock that's 3 3/4 by 5. And we're going to run that through the embossing folder. My plates out here. And my folder. And I want to make sure that I have the right piece of cardstock here. And we're going to go landscape. So I'm going to try to get that down to the bottom. And if you're new to embossing, one thing you want to make sure is when you run it through the machine, make sure it's always your fold first. One of these out of here. I think I need to get both of these out of here actually. Because this is a 3D folder, you'll need this plate number 4. And I have tagged it so I know what to do because I'm getting old and confused and I need all the help I can get. So you just run this through your machine. If I wiggle my table, I am sorry. It's not that hard. I am weak, so. And it's much easier if I'm standing up, so. There we go. Take that out. Now we're just gonna set this aside for now because we're gonna do some die cutting later. And we have our piece of cardstock. Get this out of here. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love that wintry look. Now, if you wanted to, at this point, hi Jen. I had to see what was going on. It interrupted my photo, my broadcast. So, hi Pam. Sorry I didn't have my white messages swiped to the side so I could read them. Anyway, if you wanted to, and we've got a little bit of a shadow here. Maybe if that helps. Got my Wink Estella, and I'm just going to brush this over the top, and it'll give kind of a little shiny effect, kind of glittery. And I like a little bling. I don't know if you can see that very well. If it was coming out, let's see. Sometimes you gotta prime them a little bit and just kind of squeeze the barrel. But you don't want to do it right on top of your project because it'll come out in a big blob, a big silver blob. And I've got a little extra over here, so I'm just gonna kind of brush some on here. See, it did a little blob there too. But we're gonna cover that up. So anyway, put that away. Now I'm gonna set that aside. And I have a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And from this, we are going to cut the barn and the silo. Let's see, get you guys out of here. And the trees. And what did I do with my silo? I lost, oh, here it is. Not this fence, this fence. So, first I'm going to stamp my barn, and I need my paper piercing mat. Now when you're stamping with the photopolymer, which are the clear stamps that you can see through, and I love them because you can see right through them, when you're stamping those, because there isn't the red cushion like you have on the Red River stamps, or they call them clear stamps, I'm not sure why, but the red rubber stamps, you want to have a bit of a cushion. So I'm just going to stamp this up, ink this up. Let's see, get more over here. And I'm just going to stamp this in a corner. And I like to just hold on to it for a second so I get a nice, good impression. And I didn't. But there's always a second chance. One thing I could be using is my Stamparatus, and I really love using that. Because if you don't get a good impression the second time, or the first time, you get a second chance. And I'll be demonstrating that at another class, and it's still doing the same thing. So guess the demonstration is going on now. And this is a Stamparatus. And I use this so much, especially when I'm doing my Christmas cards. Now, if I had the red rubber stamps, I would not, it would just be the plain base. But because I'm using the photopolymer, I need this little foam thing, so. And I need a new piece of cardstock because I messed that one up. And you never know when you're gonna mess up. But you know, it's not a big deal. Got another piece here. It's gonna be the same dimensions so that so you know that it's perfect. So I'm gonna slide this on here right here. And I'm going to hold this down. These magnets are very powerful. It comes with two, and you don't want them to get together because they break. So I'm going to take my stamp off of here, and they peel off really nicely. And I'm just going to place this where I want it on here, gently, because it's already got ink on it, and press this down. And now, it helps if you have a stamp case underneath, like this. Gives it some support. So now I just ink this up right on here. And close it. And if it, see, it kind of did a little bit the same thing right there. So I'm just going to ink on in that area and close it. And it stamps again perfectly. So I'm going to take this one off, and I'm going to find my tree. Here it is. May as well use the Stamparatus for all of it. And I'm going to need 3 of these. I think I'm going to go over here. And what else do I need to stamp? Just the trees. So I'm going to ink this up with soft seafoam after I press it down. Move that magnet up a little bit. Ink this up and close it. And what I should have done, I'm just going to have to move it like this. Normally I wouldn't do this. I'd have it on another plate. So we're going to stamp this up. And I did do this on, what do you call it? I did do it on the soft seafoam paper, but for this color, this, I'm going to try to do one right here. But for this card, I really wanted a more white effect. So I can show you, this is what it looks like if you stamp, that's not a good one, stamp tone on tone. It would look like this. So we got those stamped. And I think we're done with stamping now. I'll put this barn back on here. Close this up. Take this out of here. So I've got these all set to die cut, and I need a little fence out of this. Let's see if I'm going to get it. If not, I'll get a scrap. I'm going to get my stylo out of this. So, and there's that magnetic plate that's very strong. I'm going to run this through like this. And normally I used removable tape to hold my pieces in place. So I'm going to bring my machine back, and I can find my silo. There we go. And all my pieces that I need to die cut. plates over here. So I need my base plate and my clear plate. And I've got one tree here. And my silo. And a barn. Frame this. I'm going to line that up. This is where my double stick, my, what do you call it? Removable tape comes in handy. And for that fence, I'm just going to haul a piece of scrap out. And we'll cut these first. My plate. Lay those on top. And I must be missing something. Oh, I need another adapter plate. Let's see. Let me go get it. Normally I have two machines set up. One I just do die cutting from, and one I do my embossing with. So if you're wondering why I seem kind of discombobulated, it's just much easier for me to do that. Then I don't have to be switching plates back and forth. But I wanted to show you what I use. I'm going to put this one on this tree here. There. So if you know of anyone who's interested in classes, please spread the word. You can email me too at cottagelanestamper.com. Through. The cracking is because I don't have my plates squared up. There. So here's my silo. I'll put that in my basket. One tree. And my barn, and I need to cut out and misplace my fence. Let's see, here it is. And here's my scrap for my fence because I have to cut out a couple more trees here. So, and you don't have to do that. You don't have to have, you know, cards are an individual thing. So whatever you think looks good, do that. This I don't have to match up anything except for make sure it's on the paper. And I like to angle these in and then lay them down so my dies don't move. And also, if you're doing a rectangular thing, like this fence, it's easier if you go through the machine like this than this way, because it will crack and make all kinds of ungodly noises. So. And there's another tree and our fence, and those little extra pieces just fell right out, which I love. And I need one more tree. So I can angle this right like this. Oh, and heaven forbid, I have a piece of removable tape. Isn't that nice? So it'll hold that right in place. They were going to come out with a magnetic plate. They used to have one and it didn't fare so well, so they went back to the drawing board. But a magnetic plate is wonderful. So, and there's our third tree. And I believe we are done with our die cut. Well, I'm going to have one more thing that I'm going to die cut now. On my card, you see this little wreath here? It's not part of this set. There is a wreath that's in this set, and I'll show you the difference in a little bit. But I actually stole that from another set. Oh, I've already die cut it, so I don't have to worry about it. So we're going to get this thing out of the way. I love that this folds up and it's so easy to store. So here we are. Got all our pieces. And put these all here. And a tree. And there's the other little wreath. And I like the elegance of like white on white. So we've got our piece here that we've already embossed. And actually, I'm having a hard time distinguishing the front from the back. I think this is the front, actually. So we can put a little Winkostella on that. Kind of gives it a little bit of a shimmer. And it dries really fast. So I'm going to put some Winkostella on the barn here. You can see that. Just so it looks like snow on the roof. And on this snowbank out in front of the barn. There. Now, I like to lay my pieces out as to where they're going to go. And I'm going to have two trees over here. And one behind here. And see that silo? Isn't that cute? It's got the little ribs in it. I think I'm going to put a little Winkostella on the roof of that as well. There. And I'm going to use my, I'm using Stampin' Seal and Plus. I like to use that on embossed pieces. So we're going to put this right behind here. And this tree also. Now, I don't know if I told you that I stamped that tree in seafoam, soft seafoam. I like to have different heights too. Then on this, I am going to use some dimensionals and put those. Got a little light problem here. That's right. Trying to fix it, but it's not worth fixing, so. Could be because today is like dark out too. I'm right by a window and there's not much light going in. So if you ever drive by and you see the light on, it means I'm probably crafting. Just give me a honk. And I'm going to put that right here. And one of these stamps is going to get, or trees is going to get glued right here. And when you're gluing on something that's embossed like this, you want a good adhesive, like the Stampin' Seal Plus, because it will stick better, because there's because this isn't a flat surface, there's raised pieces. It have a tendency maybe to not stick as well. So you could use Stampin' Seal Plus, or you could use our double stick tape, tear and tape, I'm sorry, and or a multi-purpose glue. Now I'm going to use the multi-purpose glue on this. I'm going to get out my silicone mat. It's already got a lot of glue on it. And I've turned this over. When you die cut something, there is a right and a wrong side. I don't know if you can see that. This is kind of beveled up a little bit. And this side is much smoother. And we've got our fence tops here. So I'm going to turn this over, and I've got my multi-purpose glue, and I'm not going to glue right on it. I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, and then I'm going to use the other end and just rub some glue on it. And put a little more glue down there. I've run out and I need to order some more. Just haven't gotten around to it. It all ran down to the other end. Come on. I could try and just squeeze it out of this end too. I'm down to my last bottle. I should have squeezed out more at the first time. Boy, this really must be empty because normally it doesn't squeeze this much. I do have another glue by the same company. It's Tomboy. It's clear. So I'm just going to squeeze some of that out. And it has the same kind of applicator end on the other side. So one thing about the multi-purpose glue, if you let it dry, it becomes repositional. But I don't typically do that. So got this out of here. And we're just going to put this right here. Oh, and I must have had red ink on my mat. You know what? I had another one here. Turn the mat over. Yep, there's ink, red ink on that side. So we're going to do this again. And try to cover the whole thing. And I'm gluing this because the other pieces that are attached to it are raised with the what do you call it? Dimensionals. So this is going to go right here. Oops. It doesn't dry as fast as the other. There we go. I kind of like that a lot. Then, like I was telling you about the wreath, what did I do with it? There it is. This wreath is from another die set that was on our Celebration catalog that came out in July and August, and it was called Tree Lots. And I love this set. And I'm hoping they'll come back with it in the regular catalog. But I love camping, and this is, looks like your camper, Pam. And it's got a little dog, and it's got some little trees, and it's got Christmas trees and a bunch of other things in it. Right now it's none available. I hope they come back with it because the stamp set that goes with it, called Trees for Sale, is in the catalog. So and it's not on clearance. So I'm hoping that it's being carried over. So anyway, that's where this little wreath came from. I did cut the other wreath. I thought I had it in my basket. Get this out of here. And it was much larger. No matter how organized I think I am, I always... Well, I'll just take the die out. This is the die for the other wreath. I actually cut 2 of them. This is the story of my life, actually. And this wreath is much bigger than this wreath. And I just thought this wreath kind of overwhelmed the barn. I mean, there are people that have used it, and and they must like it, but I just thought it was too much for that size of barn. So I used the wreath from the Tree Lot stamp set. And I just did it in a soft sea foam. And this is just a pink scrap I hauled out of my drawer. I'm not even sure what color it is. It might be Blushing Bride. Anyway, I'm going to take a little bit of, let's see, I'm going to take glue dot, I think. As soon as I'm done with this card in my video, then the wreath will show up, right? So I'm going to put a glue dot on the back of that. And put that there. It kind of covers that window. And then another glue dot. And it's a little large, so I'm just kind of roll it up a little bit with my fingers and put it on the back of this right there. And put that bow up there. And I think that size wreath fits so much better than the one that's in this, the die set. So then I have another piece of cardstock. I better put these over there because they're really tiny. And this is soft sea foam, and it's 4 by 4 to 5 1/4. And again, I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus. And kind of put some on there and center that. I think I must have cut it a little too large. Let me measure this again. Yep. I'm just gonna cut a little bit off. Yeah, that's it. I like to have my borders all the same size. So there is that card. And I'm putting it on a basic white, and it is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. And we're just gonna, we'll do this upside down here. Show you how multi-talented I am. Not really. It doesn't want to. I think I'm running out. I am. So, open this up, and these are so easy to just get to the end, and you just toss it. And haul out another one. My hands are so weak, I can't tear anything anymore. So, have you all gotten your Christmas cards done? I was really late this year. And with the moving and everything, and still unpacking and trying to find stuff in my craft room. I had a couple late special orders for calendars, and I got all the way up to October. I was doing pretty good and couldn't find the October couldn't find the October stamps that I used. So let's see. And I don't seem to be doing too good at this. Nope, go like this. That's why. I haven't done much stamping for like all year. So I think I need to be retrained on the basics. There we go. Like loading your stamp, your tape runner 101. I'm gonna move this out of here. Get started where the tape is. There we go. Now we're cooking with oil or gas or whatever. So this card will open up like this. And center that on there. And if I wanted to, I could add a couple little sequins for bling. But that is it. Now, which one of these do you prefer? This one I said like is colored with colored pencil. I'm not very good at coloring, so that's why I prefer just to do something simple like this. Some people are really good at coloring, and I am not. So, and this stamp you can't really, I mean, you can't stamp the image with ink on it. The only ink on it, of course, is the outline. But I actually prefer this one. So anyway, that's the card for today. Here's the original one that I showed you. And this has the foam tape. Now maybe that would have been a better idea again, because then it's kind of sticking up. I'll fix it. I'll take one of my dimensionals, and I'm just going to cut off a little smidge, about the length of that post on the end, and tear off the backing and stick this on the back, where hopefully it won't show. And tear off that backing, because it really should have something to stick to. So much better there. I love this card. I love the soft muted colors of it. So anyway, I want to thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. Share the website, the Cottage Lane Stamper website, with your friends. And these will probably go on sale in my Cottage Lane Stamper website, where I sell products. I sell cards and gifts and all kinds of stuff. I've got some great stocking stuffers out there right now. So if you haven't done Christmas shopping and need some stocking stuffers, head to my website, cottagelanestamper.com. And don't forget about the host code. If you place an order of $150 or less, use the host code. And remember about the clearance rack. Some really good deals there. And I think that's it for today. Thank you for stopping, and we'll see you next Tuesday. May God bless you.